Chapter 1. 3 years later. Chains clinked in the dimly lit room, a macabre symphony that painted the atmosphere. The man inhaled the chemical overtones of bleach and ammonia that concealed the bitter tinge of iron, a scent that settled on his tongue. Old blood. The subtleties excited him, like secrets hidden in the nuance. He collected his tools, which he had cleaned and organized with meticulous detail, their significance interwoven with decades of memories. Settling into his seat at the workbench, he ran his fingers over the surface, feeling the stories etched into every gouge, dent, and scar. Every mark, a testament to his history, lent a textured tapestry to his craft. Precision guided his every move. It was a code he lived by, carved from a blend of study and fear. Deviation spelled death. Unrolling the canvas sheath on his workbench, the cloth pattered across the stainless steel table with dull thuds. The polished knives concealed within reflected the soft glow of the room. He spared a moment to admire his work, turning a knife over in hand, finding no flaws. Then he donned his apron and gloves before reaching beyond the table for the switch, igniting the room with brilliant white light. An electric hum sizzled from the fluorescence. His gaze fell upon his victim, Edward Smith, a young man whom he'd followed and studied as his process required. He stole him from his vacation, though not with family. They were never with family, as his past mistakes had taught him. No, Eddie came with a small group of college friends who were in a perpetual state of inebriation. In his drunken stupor, the ketamine was excessive, but his code required it, and the code was gospel. The room bore witness to the carefully orchestrated setup. Plastic sheeting veiled the walls, leaving no gaps or flaws, while the drainage trench remained exposed. A deliberate choice to ease the cleaning. The mixture of animal blood would conceal any damning evidence, he reassured himself. Approaching Eddie, still dressed in his beach attire, the man went to work. His shears sliced away the vibrant tank top and board shorts, revealing the canvas upon which he would work. He paused at the seashell necklace, drawing a whisper of disdain from his companion. Pathetic. Silencing the voice with a thought, he unclasped it and set it aside with a manner of care. Your trophies work against you. Evidence of your perversion. Giving no pause to the voice, the man pressed on. He freed the body from clothing and other accessories, prepping it for a sponge bath, and cleansed away any traces of the outside world. The gentle rise and fall of Eddie's chest stood testament to the potent cocktail of drugs, though the effects would soon fade, so there was no room for error. Beneath the table, leather straps awaited their purpose, to bind the body. As he tightened the final strap, a flicker of life stirred in Edward Smith, and the man's pulse quickened with anticipation. Steady, the voice cautioned. Quiet, he reminded his companion. Let me speak with him, the voice within persisted. No.
What? What's happening?
Eddie attempted to move, but his bonds bit into his flesh, restraining him. With clenched fists, he wriggled harder, drawing a groan from the heavy metal table. Beneath grunts and screams and pleas, he struggled. Futile attempts to free himself, but soon he fell into exhausted defeat. His eyes darted around the space until they found the man, watching him patiently.
Who the fuck are you? Where am I? What are you doing to me?
Eddie desperately pleaded for answers. The companion within the man, an unseen force clamoring for control, slithered forward, hungry to assert itself. Don't, he hissed, trying to restrain him, fighting for command. The weight of the creature's presence intensified, bearing down on him like an invisible hand, suppressing his will. Eddie's eyes widened as the man's voice surrendered, and the companion's guttural tone poured forth. "Silence," the command echoed. Eddie obeyed, his defiance quelled by the unseen puppeteer manipulating the man towering over him, peering into the depths of his soul with unsettling curiosity. "This is my life, my body," the man thought, but his concern was brushed away. "Your eyes," the companion uttered in a gravelly tone.
What? What are you talking about?
Eddie's voice quivered. "They are not your own. One different from the other." He leaned closer. Panic painted wild strokes across Eddie's features as sweat beaded along his flesh. Desperate eyes danced in widened sockets.
It's a condition.
Eddie trembled.
Heterochromia.
"A rare occurrence," the voice acknowledged. "When two souls inhabit a single body, their presence can manifest in many ways. The mind can break or separate. The body can deform. Your fragile minds struggle to bear the pressure of co-inhabitants." Stepping back from the tableside, the steady pulse of the man's footsteps clapped against the plastic lining on the floor. Eddie jerked his shoulders against the bonds, still chasing the hope of escape. "Do you believe in gods, Edward Smith?"
I don't know.
"Your ancestors did," the man said, walking in ponderous strides. "Your ancestors were pious, primitive. They built great monuments to beings like me, and my kin became infatuated with their adulation. But times have changed. You and your ilk have grown callous, seeking distraction from the world, lost in bickering and wars over misplaced veneration."
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man.
Eddie screamed.
Let me go.
With a sharp thud, the man slammed his fist on the metal table, silencing Eddie's protests. He leaned in, his breath hot against Eddie's cheek, yet his voice remained calm. "Mortals have shown their true colors, but that is not why you suffer." The man leaned back. "I believe you are harboring someone, Edward. I do not believe you are aware of your co-inhabitant. You are simply collateral. But in your sacrifice, your connection to this plane will be severed." The man pressed a button on the side of the table, turning Eddie feet overhead. "You will be free from this hollow, wretched shell. A new beginning. A gift that few have ever been blessed with."
No, no, no.
Eddie cried.
No, stop, please. Fucking stop. I don't want to die.
The whir of the actuators accompanied his screams. "Is it him?" the man asked his companion. "We shall see," the voice replied, surrendering control. Amid Eddie's continuing cries, the man shuffled back to his workbench. From beneath the table, he retrieved a box intricately carved from burled wood. Opening it and removing a cloth wrap revealed an archaic curved dagger. Its handle fashioned from bone, and a blade of white opal glimmered with an otherworldly allure. He turned the dagger over in hand, heavier than it looked, and watched the fluorescents glint their prismatic pattern off the opal blade. Unlike the influence of his companion, the power radiating from the dagger held a subtler allure, a haunting charm that had gone unnoticed at first, but, once felt, latched onto him like an addiction. He returned to the inclined table and approached, wrong way up, Eddie, whose head hung precariously above the drainage trough. He cried, still pleading for his life, tears rolling over his brow. a cacophony of sound that the man had become adept at tuning out. With resolute purpose, he made a swift incision, starting at Eddie's ear and trailing up to his collarbone, cutting deep into the throat. Blood spewed forth, dousing his gloved fingers, coating his apron and rubber boots. Swiftly stepping away, he spared himself the worst of the carnage. Blood spurted from Eddie's neck and cascaded down the curves of his skull, painting his face a macabre color. Gurgling and coughing on his own gore, Eddie tried to scream, staring from horrified eyes. The table trembled as its occupant writhed in a final desperate plea for freedom. The veins in his head bulged from strain as his flesh drained of color to a pale, sickly white. As Eddie's struggle waned, his eyes rolled over to find the man, watching him patiently. The hint of a smile toyed with his lips, a glimmer of satisfaction amid the horror. The man's heart lightened with the hope that Eddie would be the last. Yet a darker part of him craved more, a part he tried to suppress. The conflict was what his companion played on. He despised the duality, the lack of control over his own desires. Eddie's body slackened, and his eyes drooped, gravity holding them open in bulging surprise. Turning to the workbench, he set the blade aside, lamenting as he rested his hands on the table. In that moment, a pressure released from his head and an uncomfortable silence settled. The brief, fleeting quiet was the only reprieve the man had, where an echo of himself could be found. He held his breath and yearned for his companion to remain absent, hoping that his task had reached its end. But as swiftly as it had gone, the pressure returned. It gripped his mind like a vice, accompanied by the familiar presence he could never escape. "It was not him," the voice said.